Hello friends, in this video let us discuss about succession in case of females under the Hindu Succession Act 1956. Section 14, 15 and 16 of Hindu Succession Act 1956 deals with the property possessed by a female Hindu dying intestate and general rules of succession, the order of succession and the manner of distribution of the property among the heirs of a female Hindu. Now let's discuss about these three sections in this video. Section 14 speaks about the property of a female Hindu to be her absolute property. And subsection 1 runs as any property possessed by a female Hindu, whether acquired before the commencement of this act or after the commencement of this act, shall be held by her as a full owner and not as a limited owner. That means here the Hindu woman's limited estate is totally abolished. It's not totally abolished, and any property possessed by a female Hindu, however acquired, is now held by her as her absolute property, and she has full powers to deal with it or dispose it of by will or as she likes. Subsection 1, there is an explanation for the property that includes both movable and immovable property acquired by a female Hindu by inheritance or device or even at a partition or in place of maintenance or arrears of maintenance or by gift from any person, whether a relative or not, before or at the marriage or after her marriage, or by her own skills or by exertion or by her purchase or by prescription or in any other manner, and also such property held by her as Sridhana immediately before the commencement of this act. According to subsection 2 of section 14, if there are any terms that prescribes a restricted estate in the property of a female Hindu of the gift, will or other instrument or a decree, order or award, the above subsection 1 shall not apply to any such property. Now let us see the section is prospective or retrospective in effect. In the case of Kamala Devi versus Bachulal Gupta, the Supreme Court pointed out that by reason of the expression whether acquired before or after the commencement of this act, the section is retrospective in effect. Now let us see what would be the meaning of the word possessed under subsection 1 of section 14. In the case of Koturi Swami versus Veerava Jagannathan Pillai, the Supreme Court expressed in the context of the property acquired by a widow before the commencement of the act that the property must be in the possession of the female concerned at the date of the commencement of the act. Such possession might have been either actual or constructive or in any form recognized by law. The object of subsection 2 of section 14 is to make it clear that a restricted estate can even be, after the commencement of the act, come into existence in the case of the interest in property given to a female Hindu by operation of transactions inter vivos or by testamentary disposition, by decree or order of a civil court or under an award. Such restricted estate created prior to the commencement of the act will not be enlarged into full ownership by operation of the subsection 1 if the gift, will, other instrument, decree, order or an award had prescribed restricted estate. There is an important case relating to section 14 of Hindu Succession Act. In the case of Tulisamma versus Sesha Reddy, the Supreme Court held that section 14 of subsection 2 must be read only as a proviso or exception to subsection 1 of section 14, and its operation must be confined to the cases where the property is acquired for the first time as a grant without any pre-existing right under a gift, will, instrument, decree, order or an award of the terms of which prescribed a restricted estate in the property. Section 15 speaks about general rules of succession in the case of female Hindu. The property of a female Hindu dying intestate shall devolve according to the rules that are set out in section 16. Under entry A, firstly upon the son and daughter and including their grandsons, under the husband, and secondly upon the heirs of the husband, thirdly upon the mother and father, and fourthly upon the heirs of the father, and lastly upon the heirs of the mother. Clause A of subsection 2 of section 15. If the woman does not have any children, that is son or daughter, to the female Hindu, then the property any inherited by a female Hindu from her father or mother shall devolve not upon the heirs as referred in subsection 1 of section 15, but upon the heirs of the father. Similarly, under clause B, if there is no child to the female Hindu and any property is inherited by a female Hindu from her husband or from her father-in-law, shall devolve not upon the other heirs as referred in subsection 1 of section 15, but upon the heirs of the husband. Here the words shall devolve under subsection 1 of section 15 shall plainly indicate that the section is prospective in its operation. It applies where the death of a female intestate and consequent devolution of her property takes place after the commencement of the act and has not gone succession to the property of a female Hindu whose death took place before the act came into force. Here under entry A, the son includes natural son and adopted son in case of a female intestate who had remarried after the death of her husband, or if she has obtained divorce from her husband, then her sons by different husbands would be her natural sons and entitled to inherit the property left by her regardless of the source of the property. The children of her husband by another wife would not be her heirs. However, the stepsons are only entitled under entry B of subsection 1 of section 15 as heirs of husband. And also illegitimate son and the son born of void or voidable marriages also entitled to inherit the property under this entry. The same rules which are applied to the son are applies to the daughter as well. Under entry A, the husband must be lawfully married to the female intestate, and such marriage was not annulled or dissolved by a decree of a court or dissolved by any valid custom governing the parties. If there are no heirs under entry A of section 15, then the property of a female Hindu dying intestate shall devolve upon the heirs of the husband. However, the property which she might have inherited from her father or mother will not devolve upon the heirs of the husband, but upon the heirs of the father. If there are no heirs under entry A and entry B, the father and mother of an intestate female shall succeed property simultaneously and share the property to the exclusion of those specified in the subsequent entries. Here the important point is, a mother is entitled to succeed to the property of her illegitimate daughter as a heir under this entry, read with section 3, subsection 1 and subsection J, and also a stepmother is not entitled to inherit to her stepdaughter as one of the heirs, but she can succeed to her property as a heir of her father under the next entry. If there are no heirs under entry A, B and C, the property of an intestate female shall devolve upon the heirs of the father in the same order and according to the same rules as would have applied if the property is belonged to the father and he has died intestate immediately after the female intestate's death. The devolution of the property among the heirs of the mother shall be in the same order and according to the same rules as would have applied if the property is belonged to the mother and she has died intestate immediately after the female intestate's death. Here the uterine brother and uterine sister of the intestate female shall succeed as a heir of the mother, and also the illegitimate brother and sister of a female intestate, even though the female intestate is a legitimate offspring. According to section 16, the order of succession among the heirs referred in section 15 shall be an indistribution of the intestate's property among those heirs takes place according to the following rules. According to rule number 1, among the heirs specified in section 15 of subsection 1, those in one entry shall be preferred to those in any succeeding entry, and those included in the same entry shall take the simultaneously. the property of a female intestate. That means the heirs in the one entry excludes the succeeding entries, and the heirs in one entry shall take the property simultaneously. If a son or daughter of a female intestate had predeceased her, leaving grandchildren to her alive at the time of such female intestate's death, then those grandchildren shall take between them the share which son or daughter of her would have taken if living at the time of intestate's death. According to Rule 3, if there are no heirs under entry A, the devolution of the property of an intestate on the heirs referred to in the clauses B, D, and E of subsection 1 and subsection 2 of section 15 shall be in the same order and according to the same rules as would have applied as if the property has been the father's or mother's or husband's and such person has died intestate in respect of immediately after the female intestate's death. So that is all about section 14, 15 and 16 of Hindu Succession Act 1956, which deals with the female intestate property. If you have any doubt, please mention in the comment box and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.